Left 4 Dead 2 has a lot of achievements, 101 achievements in total to be precise, and for many, a lot of these achievements seem nigh impossible to complete. Everything from completing every single campaign on Expert, rescuing Noam Chomsky from Dark Carnival, to even helping a player who got the game for free in Christmas of 2013 beat a campaign. With so many of these achievements varying wildly in objective, amount of time needed to complete them, and sheer luck needed to be able to get into the circumstances where it's even possible to complete them, it's no surprise that nearly 13 years after the game's release, many people aren't even close to collecting every achievement. But what would happen if you took the pure nerd power of a dedicated speedrunning community and applied it to a challenge as vast as collecting every achievement?
Looks like there's been a change of plans.
Well, that's exactly what I wanted to find out. If you routed it out, just like a speedrun, how long would it take to complete all 101 achievements in Left 4 Dead 2? After much planning, collaborating, and a little bit of luck, I managed to gather a team of over 20 players from all over the Left 4 Dead community, from survival to speedrunning, and even some versus heads, to work together on this goal for one weekend. On July 23rd of 2022, we made history and collected all 101 achievements in Left 4 Dead 2 in just under 17 hours. A feat that many thought was completely impossible.
Holy shit.
In this video, I'm going to break down just exactly how we managed to do such a crazy task, and explain the details of how we got some of the more impressive achievements in detail. Out of the 101 achievements, the hardest to get were by far the 3 that stand out like sore thumbs: Ghost of Christmas Present, Christmas Gift Grab 2013, and Good Guy Nick. These achievements are all limited time, multiplayer exclusive achievements that can only be unlocked under very specific circumstances. If we wanted to legitimately unlock all 101 achievements, we were going to need to find a solution to these 3 first. Ghost of Christmas Present requires you to help a free Christmas player from 2013 survive a campaign. This means that a player who got the game for free to keep back in Christmas of 2013 would have to be in your game and survive a whole campaign with you. Normally, this achievement is really difficult to get, as not many players got the game for free back in 2013, and the percentage of those players that still play the game 9 years later is completely unknown, but it's gotta be pretty small. If you want to get the achievement, you would have to either completely at random join a game of Christmas players and then have them survive the campaign, or hunt one down and make them help you get the achievement. For our run, we were obviously going for the latter, and thankfully, a friend in the community, Jays, just so happened to be one of those free Christmas players. Jays is someone you may have heard of before, and it won't be the last time either. Jays was the face of the Last Stand update back in 2021, so you can blame him for ruining the game. As for the other 2 achievements, 2013 Christmas Gift Grab seems impossible on the face of it. Collect 3 Christmas presents dropped from special affected in verses. The name of the achievement implies it's only possible during Christmas of 2013, but thankfully this is not true. In fact, this is a normal thing that happens every December. There's a chance that special infected will drop Christmas presents when they die in verses of every December. This means that you can get the achievement in any year as long as the current date is December. However, our event was being hosted in July, so we would need to come up with some way to make it Christmas in July. Fortunately, I found a YouTube video from years ago detailing a trick to make the game drop presents even when it wasn't December. Apparently, if you set the date and time on your computer to December of any year, then host a versus game on a local server, the server's date is set to December, and then that will cause the game to drop presents, even if it's July. That's 2 of the 3 big problem achievements sorted, but the third would be the most difficult to find a workaround for: Good Guy Nick. This achievement requires you to help a free weekend player survive a campaign. Essentially, it's the same achievement as Ghost of Christmas Present, except for it's not players who got the game for free in 2013, it's players who are playing in a free weekend. The vital difference, though, is free weekends don't let you keep the game, so that means it needs to be a free weekend to be able to get the achievement. The only people who can make the game free are Valve themselves, and they're known to do it very, very rarely. In fact, there's only been a handful of free weekends since the game has come out in 2009, occurring less often the further you get from the release. The last time there was a free weekend was in 2021 for the launch of the Last Stand update, a community building update for the game that Valve officially pressed as free DLC. Thankfully, due to these events, Jays, who was going to be the Ghost of Christmas player, also had connections with Valve themselves. Thanks to that and a business pitch from myself, Valve agreed to make it a free weekend just for our event, clearing the 3 hardest achievements in the run. Right from the get-go, I knew I wanted to do something more for this event. I thought Left 4 Dead All Achievements Run would be something awesome in its own right, but I want to use my social influence to produce a little bit of good in the world on top of that. This is why I decided to make it a charity event stream. I sincerely believe that if you have a large audience, that you have a duty to use that audience for good. And with how much Left 4 Dead 2 has helped me in my life both financially and for my mental health, I knew a long time ago that I wanted to do something like this. If you don't know my story with Left 4 Dead 2 speedrunning and its impact on my life, it's all poured into this video I made a while back. I won't rehash the details, but just know that mental illness is something that affects everyone in some way, and is really an important topic for me personally. I believe that this focus on a good cause and raising money for a well-established charity like NAMI is one of the factors that helped push Valve into giving us a free weekend for the event. So a huge shout out to them. This shift from pure speedrun to charity stream, however, would have us making a few changes on the way how we would approach the run. In order to raise money, we wanted to have some donation incentives that would give us some things to do during the run itself. We had incentives to make the tanks into Shrek, all the common infected into Teletubbies, and even to do some extra fun game modes. We didn't want to make the run needlessly long, however. So for a lot of these, we tried to keep it in the spirit of the speedrun. So our main incentives were all based around the specific achievement, Mutant Overlord. This achievement requires the player to finish 6 mutations. If you don't know what mutations are, they're variations on normal game modes. There are many official mutations, and you can play 6 of them to complete this achievement. Anything from giving the player the ability to double jump to making all of the special infected into tanks. It was a bit of a point of contention for what mutations we wanted to do and when. You see, the event was broken up into 5 shifts because it was estimated to be about 17 hours long. With almost every section requiring at least 4 players and each shift requiring vastly different skill sets, breaking it up into shifts was the best way to make sure no one player had to play to exhaustion, and that way we could organize who used their time the most effectively. The first shift was the main campaign shift. This shift was to be done with speedrunners only. The goal was to go through the main 5 campaigns that the game launched with and get every achievement that was specific to those campaigns. These campaigns would also have to be done on Expert in order to get the achievement Still Something to Prove. It states that you have to complete every campaign on Expert to unlock this achievement, but in actuality, the achievement was in the game at launch, so it only requires these main 5 campaigns. So our 4 players would be making their way through the main campaigns, protecting who would be the account holder. For this event, we made a brand new Steam account called Left for Charity. This account would be passed from player to player across all 5 shifts in order to get every single achievement on this account. That means the other 3 players in the server's job was to protect the account holder and to enable them to get said achievements. This means that they're the only ones that have to carry the gnome. They also had to win all of the carnival games and survive every campaign. The first shift was scheduled to be all speedrunners, but as the event was starting, the account holder for the first shift was nowhere to be found. It turns out their power went out in their whole neighborhood and wouldn't come back on for hours. This threw a massive wrench in our plans. We only had 3 players for the first shift and it was supposed to be a speedrun shift. They were going to do as many co-op speedrun tricks as possible without skipping any of the achievements, to try to save as much time as possible. However, now that we were missing that 4th player, that plan was out the window. Thankfully, Jays, who was scheduled to play the final campaign with them to give them Ghost or Christmas present, was there to save the day and play the whole shift. Unfortunately, he had absolutely 0 speedrun experience, so most of the co-op skips had to be thrown out in favor of just finishing the campaign together. Even still, the first shift went pretty well. We didn't miss any achievements, the gnome was saved, and we survived on the stage of Dark Carnival until the helicopter arrived, giving us 22 out of 101 achievements collected in just about 2 hours. This is where we're brought back to the achievement Mutant Overlord. The achievement itself says you must complete the mutation, but this isn't exactly true. It was found out that if you die in a mutation, that also counts as completing it. So the fastest way to get Mutant Overlord is to play the first map of Dead Center on 6 different mutations and just yeet yourself out of the building and to your own death. This is why we decided to make playing specific mutations instead of cheesing them a donation incentive. Our first 2 incentives were for Rocket Dude and Jumpman. Rocket Dude is a mutation where you have unlimited ammo grenade launcher and the ability to rocket jump. This mutation was showcased by Acids on Coldstream, a map with tons of school skips and tricks for this mutation specifically. Then we had Loki showcase Jumpman, mutation where you get a double jump on the Parish. This too had some radical implications for new skips and tricks. With those two down, we have 4 more mutations to go, but for the time being, we shifted our focus onto some of the more time-consuming achievements in the speedrun, like Lambs to the Slaughter and Killing Spree. These two are collect all silver medals on every survival map and collect all gold medals on every survival map. If you don't know, survival is a mode where you have as much time as you want to set up, but once you're ready, you activate an endless horde. Then you try to survive as long as you can. The game gives you medals for surviving for specific amounts of time. A bronze medal is for surviving 4 minutes, a silver for 7, and a gold for 10 minutes. There are 43 different official survival maps. 10 minutes on each map adds up to about 7.5 hours, not including setup time. For these achievements, we were going to need some help, so I asked the Gold Miners. The Gold Miners are a Left 4 Dead 2 survival Discord group that documents and competes in Left 4 Dead 2 survival. While gold is still the highest medal you can get in the game, these players have practiced and trained to be able to survive for multiple hours on some of these maps. With their help, the 10-minute on each map should be a piece of cake. And with their advanced skills, they can skip most of the setup time on most maps, just starting the horde instantly and setting up mid-round. This would help to vastly cut down the amount of time during the run. It was scheduled that the survival section would be cut into 2 sections. That way, we didn't have to watch 8 hours of survival in a row, and they could just switch groups of players between shifts. The first survival shift took on all of the hardest maps to survive on, while the second shift would focus on getting the miscellaneous achievements during the survival maps themselves. Left 4 Dead 2 has a lot of miscellaneous achievements, everything from killing a spitter before it spits, to killing a common infected with one of each type of melee weapon. These achievements could in theory be done at any time, as long as the circumstances were right. But it's fastest to do them during survival, since you're going to be doing nothing but killing zombies for about 8 hours. Because of this, we loaded as many achievements into this section as possible. A whole 30 achievements were to be done during this section, all while trying to survive for at least 10 minutes on all 43 maps. The first thing we wanted to do is get Supreme Survivalist. This achievement has the player survive for over 30 minutes on any survival map. We tried this first on Coldstream Bridge. This map literally only has 2 places zombies can come from, with infinite ammo refill right at the top. The only resource the players didn't have was access to health packs. This makes it ideal for this sort of length, as 2 players can watch each side and easily defend for 30 minutes. But Left 4 Dead 2 is known for being a little bit random, and something can always go wrong. At about 18 minutes, the team got charged off the bridge and died, making us have to try again on another map. We then switched to the Parish Bridge, where it was unlocked on the first try. This wipe on the Coldstream Bridge was the only wipe in the whole run. Well, as far as survival goes, which helped to make it some of the most optimized parts of the whole speedrun. After this first survival shift, we headed into the 8-player/PvP section. There are a lot of achievements in this game that require the account holder to use the special infected in versus mode. To do this as optimally as possible, we had 8 players join in a versus server at the same time and coordinate plays to allow the account holder to get each achievement quickly. Sometimes they had to die over and over again to reroll special infected spawns. Most of the achievements in this section were rather easy to get because of the coordination of all 8 players. Because all the special infected were controlled by humans, and they could easily allow whatever shenanigans were required to get the achievement. The only one that caused a little bit of an issue was Sacrifizzle. This achievement has the account holder kill a survivor who's trying to sacrifice themselves during the sacrifice finale. It was failed 3 times because the last tick of damage that incapacitates the survivor has to be from the account holder themselves. The first attempt, the account holder grabbed Bill with a jockey, but the spitter goo is what actually incapacitated the survivor, yoinking the achievement from the account holder. The second time, a common infected did the final blow. This means we had to re-roll the finale 3 times. We also did survival versus for 10 minutes, because the Big 10 required it. This was a perfect opportunity to get all the survivor side versus achievements. Finally, on this shift we did Scavenge, which we had to do 5 games of Scavenge on the port. During these games, we collected over 100 gas cans and finished all of the PvP achievements. This shift got a ton of achievements and took about 2.5 hours. Of all the sections of the event, this one had to have been the one that could have saved the most time if we had more time to practice. Having to coordinate all 8 players to do all sorts of things all at the same time in a game as dynamic as Left 4 Dead 2 was nearly impossible. But it was still much easier than trying to get the achievement in some random versus lobby. Then we played Tank, a mutation where every spectral infected is a tank, and we played a nice game of versus. It was a good time. The finale shift was supposed to be just the final couple of campaigns and the last 2 incentives, Tank Run and Hard 8. Tank Run was done on a workshop map called Suicide Blitz 2 and was a very good meme. Basically, there could be up to 6 tanks on the map at once, but it's only tanks. They played this on advanced difficulty and it was hilarious. Hard 8 makes it so that there are 8 possible special infected spawns instead of the normal 4, and the special spawns twice as fast. They played this on No Mercy on the expert difficulty. Before we got to those though, we prioritized the achievements that were missing from the other shifts. Strength in Numbers is supposed to be unlocked after winning a game of Versus, where you create a team of 4 and search for another team of 4. But when we tried to make 2 teams and just search for each other, it couldn't find a game. Turns out you could just create a 1v1 scavenge game on a local server and get the achievement that way. I have no idea why this works. It's not even 4v4 or Versus, but it does, so, you know, somehow. Then we got Beat the Rush. Beat the Rush is an interesting achievement because it is so broken in so many ways. Originally, you're supposed to get a medal on any survival map by using only melee weapons. On the current update for Left 4 Dead 2 though, this is super broken. If anything in the server uses plus fire at any point, the achievement isn't valid. This includes things like AI controlled hunters, tanks, smokers, and chargers. So if they ever pounce, spit, charge, or anything, the achievement is invalid. Also, if the players take any damage from anything besides melee, then it's also instantly invalid. On top of that, the achievement is automatically invalid randomly upon spawning in all but 3 survival maps. That means it's basically impossible to get it on this patch. On top of all that, if you already have a medal on every survival map, then you can't unlock it on an official survival map. Because you have to unlock the medal, not just achieve it, meaning you have to be the first time you ever get a medal on that map. Because of this, we decided that this achievement was not really gonna be possible on current patch, so we downpatched for this one specifically. We wanted every achievement to be done on current patch and without using any sort of workshop maps if possible. But this one legitimately didn't seem doable. After that though, we played Coldstream on Expert with the mutation Chainsaw Massacre. This gives every player an infinite ammo chainsaw to use. This would double as beating Coldstream and beating a campaign with only melee weapons, as well as completing one more mutation, making progress towards 3 achievements all at once. We also tried to get Tank Burger here, killing a tank with only melee weapons, but Killer does what he does best and trolls, accidentally shooting it with a pistol while he was downed. So we went back and got it later. Then we did the passing, resetting to get good RNG drops that we need for cash grab, as well as getting shotgun wetting. Next, the sacrifice, which we did some speedrun strats to skip to the end, and then did a completely new strategy that would get us Chaos Generator and kill Bill at the same time. By using a throwable to get up to the top, they then do a sequence of warps that get all the players to the ending part of the finale without activating any of the generators. Then, they can all but one jump down and activate all 3 generators at once, getting the Chaos Generator achievement. After that, the final generator trigger appears, and Bill can activate that one, ending the campaign and unlocking the Kill Bill achievement. Finally, we have The Last Stand, which had a couple of difficult achievements to unlock. The Last Dash, beating the campaign in under 13 minutes with no one dying, and The Last Stand, complete the campaign on Expert Realism. The goal was to complete both of these in one run, but in order to do so, the run would have to be really good. The Household Names achievement was unlocked opening the secret room as part of the run. And even in normal speedruns, you would use this spot to warp from. They use this spot to warp all 4 players through this wall, skipping the event on the first map. Once on the second map, they basically just have to survive the hordes and have no one die. They somehow actually managed to get the campaign done in under 13 minutes on Expert Realism with no one dying. finalizing every single achievement except for Z Genocidus 2. The singular achievement we didn't get at this point in the marathon was Z Genocidus 2, which requires you to kill 53,599 common infected. You would think that after about 16 hours of playing on this account, 8 of which during survival, that you would have racked up quite a few common infected kills. But we only had about 10,000 at this point, leaving us 43,000 kills away from this achievement. Thankfully, we had a secret weapon for this, a custom map called Z Genocidus 2. This custom survival map spawns in 1.3 thousand common infected per minute and is just a hallway with a minigun. After about 40 minutes of grinding, we got it. 53,599 Teletubbies massacred, and all 101 achievements down in under 17 hours. We also raised $5,041 for Nami. An event like this is not something that has ever been done before. A large-scale all-achievements speedrun is something that's brand new. I'm really glad that I could help organize and set up an event like this. Thank you so much to Jays and Valve for helping us get a free weekend, and the survival community and speedrunning community for putting this run together. I really only help organize it, but you guys are what made it a reality, so thank you so much. I love organizing events and bringing the communities together, especially when it's for something good like charity. I really want to do more events like this in the future, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I really love the way this one turned out, and if you want to watch the whole marathon, they are up on my archive channel, which I also stream on a lot of the time. Also, one last thing, big shout out to my Patreon supporters. I know this channel's been kind of dead for a while, but I've been doing a lot of work on the GDQ runs and this event. But now that we're done and we're back, I'm focusing a lot on getting the archive channel going, getting my stream back up and running, and finally getting some of these main channel YouTube videos back up and running. So thank you so much. Love you all. See you next time. Stay stylish.